We are introducing a new segment on the Minnesota Tim podcast today, and the segment is called Inside the Mind. We are going to go inside the mind of several players throughout the year, and we will share what they are thinking right now in their own distinguished mind. And we're going to be real about it. I am going to tell you this morning what is happening inside of Jaren Hall's mind today after being waived by the Minnesota Vikings following 3 preseason games, and then they sign Brett Rippon to replace Jaren Hall. So, because of what happened, we can all assume that Jaren Hall is not the happiest camper in the world right now. Okay? Let's just be real about it. Jaren Hall is frustrated. He's upset. He's disappointed. And he should be when you think about what's happened to him in recent days. So, without further ado, let's go inside the mind of one Jaren Hall.
I can't believe the Minnesota Vikings just cut me. This is frickin' BS. And not only did they cut me for a guy called Brett Rippon? Are you serious? It's all because of Brett Rippon's dad and he played in the NFL. Not because of how good Brett Rippon actually is. This is nepotism at its finest, and the Minnesota Vikings organization is a bunch of losers and they suck. They're liars. They aren't honest. I mean, look at my stat line versus the Eagles. 17 for 25. 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, a 116.9 passer rating. If J.J. McCarthy did this, if he had this stat line, everybody would be sucking his dick to kingdom come. Look at my stat line versus the Browns in my limited action. 4 for 5, 87 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. A passer rating of 158.3. I get a little leg injury at the end of my Eagles game, and I'll be back in 2 weeks. And they cut me because of that? And then they go to the podium and they have the boldness to say, we want to pour into Jaren Hall. We want to look to his future. We love what we have in him. It's all a bunch of crap. This is the most ridiculous thing that's ever happened to in my NFL career. And I can't believe it. I go out there and have the greatest preseason of my career. And then they cut me for a guy that barely sees the field in Brett Rippon. Brett Rippon's played in like 10 career games in 5 years. And like, I went out there versus the Atlanta Falcons and let a touchdown drive if I did get hurt. Stupid. And now they're trying to sign me to their practice squad. Plus, they cut me after every single team in the NFL created their practice squads. So I can't even sign with one of them. They just screwed me up my anus in every single way possible. And I went to BYU. So I'm Mormon. So I just got Mormon circumcised by the Minnesota Vikings organization.
Well, that's Jaren Hall's thoughts about being waived by the Minnesota Vikings. And honestly, I can see why he feels that way. That's inside the mind of Jaren Hall. Because you think about it, the Vikings waive him after everyone else sets their practice squad rosters. Not that anyone couldn't release a guy and pick him up, but everyone set their practice squad rosters. They figured out the money. They figured out who their quarterback is. And then the Minnesota Vikings waive him. No team picks him up on the practice squad. And now basically his hope is that the Minnesota Vikings bring him back. And he's kind of bitter with the Minnesota Vikings right now. I mean, when he said that everyone would be sucking the balls of J.J. McCarthy if he had the same performance versus the Eagles, he's right. If J.J. McCarthy went 17 for 25, almost 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 117 passer rating, it's all anybody would be talking about. But Jaren Hall did it, and no one cares. He gets cut by the Minnesota Vikings. The league's unfair. I mean, he did do it versus third-string guys, but the league is unfair. Jaren Hall, I feel you. Keep grinding, and maybe you'll have an opportunity to be a backup quarterback in the league sometime soon. Probably not, but maybe.